Foremost, to everyone that listened to the first episode with my man Khalil Denis. I had a lot of fun just talking to Khalil. That's the side of Khalil that I've gotten to know over the years coaching him, and to be able to share that with the world is really dope to me. And it works towards what I want to do with this platform. I want to speak to athletes away from the field so that we get to learn more about them, Black athletes. So we learn more about them and, like we said before, their recruiting process, the things they go through, the struggles, and just what it is to be a high school athlete in 2020. But I also want to provide some other perspectives, which is why I have the guest that I have today. It is Khalil's father and mother and father. The Denises, my bad, I didn't get you guys' first name.
Gerald.
Okay.
I'm Tamira.
Nice to get you guys' first name. I always just Mr. and Mrs. Dennis. That's just the way I was raised. But we wanted to bring them in to talk to them about the parent perspective of what it's like having a son that is doing great things on the football field, but also academically in their transition. So for you guys, the people who have raised Khalil into the great young man that he is today, I guess my first question for you would be, when did you, in terms of athletics, when was the first time that you knew that he was gifted? Was it just football, or I don't know, did Khalil play other sports growing up?
Yeah, he played soccer. He was on karate,
Okay.
And I think for us, for football, she wanted a son just for football. I think if we had another girl, we would have kept trying until she had her football player.
Yeah.
But I remember for football, it was just, we used to watch wrestling a lot, so it was nothing for him to tackle the couch, the pillows, always hitting something, so it became, stop jumping on my couch, stop tackling my couch, stop hitting my couch, stop hitting kids in school, like tackling kids in school, So he had so much energy that we said, okay, let's try soccer. Then we realized, okay, he's a little bit more mild, he gets home, but mommy wanted football. So there was a coach, was it Dion? Mm-hmm. Coach Dion that said, hey, he can come on my team. He was around 5. Mm-hmm. And he was like, he can come on my team. But at first I was like, let me try flag first. Let's get him started. Mommy was like, nah, we hitting.
Yeah.
Mommy was like, nah, we are hitting. So, and we used to talk to him so much about not hitting kids in school. Mm-hmm. The very first time I was like, yo, Khalil, it's okay, man. You can
just let it go.
Let it go. I'm not gonna get in trouble. And I think that very first game, the very first game he had, Coach White taught him how to hit, and he cracked that running back, right through the middle. The whole stadium just was like, ooh, that's a kid, there's a 5-year-old that's hitting like that. Ever since then, he was addicted to hitting.
Yeah, and I know I told him before, I've never seen somebody, to hear that he's had it from day one, and just the natural ability. I told him when I spoke to him before, I don't like to tackle. I will run through you if we're playing offense, but it takes a different type of mentality to one, to tackle a ball carrier, but to tackle them the way that Khalil notoriously does is different. But it's normally you don't hear mom being the advocate for football. What was that? Just you were a big fan of football growing up, and
I was, and I just love sports. I play basketball, but I wanted to be on the football team. Mm-hmm. But the guys was like, nah, you're not that girl, because we are going to do other things at practice to you. And so they was like, nah, you're cool, but now you're too pretty to play football. So I would do like the fat flag football, stuff like that. But it just was like, I'm gonna have a son, he's gonna play me. He's gonna do it for me, and that's what he did. He did it on both sides of the field. So he would run that ball even at the 6-year-old as a running back, and he did it up until
they move up
freshman year in high school. So and he's been that person from you just, like you said, it was like a natural ability. And I remember when we were playing, I think it was Gary. Rose Pop Warner back then, but he was running the ball, and I guess they told him get number one. He was number one back then. He was like, get everybody, just go to number one, just stop him.
Yeah.
And so he came back, and he didn't get up for a while. The whole team tackled him, and he didn't get up for a while. And I was like, man, I was the team mom, and so I'm like, okay, child ain't getting up. Okay, I gotta restrain myself. I'm gonna run over there in a minute. So then finally the coaches went and checked him out, and he's coming back, and he's like limping, and he's like, y'all didn't block for me, with a little tear coming down his eye. I'm like, what does this little 6-year-old know about that? Y'all should have been blocking for me. He was just mad at the point. Not that he might have been a little hurt or whatever, but he was just mad that they didn't block for him because he wanted that touchdown at 6 years old. I was like, okay, he was meant to do this. He was meant to do this.
Yeah, so like you knew it from day one, and he's told me that was before I got to Nightdale that he was playing offense.
Yeah.
And I would always joke with him that he had plenty of opportunities to get interceptions. I mean, whether it was in practice or games.
He would be so mad.
His hands, oh man, I would clown him about him just having horrible.
He's not a wide receiver, but he's a
running back. Like, you take a hand off.
If you catch that ball,
yeah,
he's gonna hit you before you hit him.
Oh, 100%.
That's how he is. Even from the beginning, he run the ball like a linebacker, and the coaches used to love that about him. Once he dropped that shoulder, you are going to get hit before he hits you, before you hit him. So it was, that's something I wish, Nightdale would have gave him an opportunity to do, to see, by any chance, hey, to see some of those offensive side of him. But yeah, if he throw the ball, if he's trying to, but you place it in his hands, he's gone.
He's going to do it.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Now the physicality was there. When did he get into the weight room? Because his ethic in the weight room is something that I think sets him apart as well. Was that something that you guys like slowly introduced him to, or?
Yeah, it was me. So, 8th grade, right after the season, the Pop Warner season was over with in 8th grade. I knew he was transitioning to high school, and I used to always drill in his head. Them kids used to pop in Pop Warner. Those are not the same kids in high school. You're gonna go against 18, 19-year-olds. So right after that season was over with, I would take him to the gym right before I drop him off to school. So we would be up like 5 o'clock in the morning, take him to the gym. Yeah. We work out, lift weights. Fitness Connection. Yeah.
That's where I ran into you guys. I was, I'll never forget, I was on the stairs at Fitness Connection one day and looked up. I said, oh, there go Khalil. Y'all were in there getting it in.
We started since 8th grade.
Yeah.
And I wanted him to have some type of strength before he even get to high school. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, for a kid like that, he's not gonna want to get up. He's not, but he fell in love with weightlifting. To the point where he's waking me up. Like, come on, Dad. Up to this day, come on. Are we going to the gym? Come on. Like, he's on this telling me, come on, let's go. And I was like, I think I created a monster.
Yeah, he's definitely a weight room warrior.
Yeah, he loves the weights. But the thing that was good, he got to see that, okay, my pops was right. He said the very first time he hit somebody in Nightdale, when he moved up to varsity, he hit the dude, both went down, but he was like, I gotta get up. Come on, Khalil, get up. He said, because it hurt so bad. And then he was like, I gotta get even stronger, because now he got to experience what it is to hit a senior. Yeah. So, and plus when they started lifting weights in the gym, the upperclassmen, they're gonna test the younger kid, and it was like, yo, freshman strong, and he loved to hear that kind of stuff. I said, I told you, it's a whole different beast when you get to high school. Yeah,
and even to see, he said the same thing at Presbyterian now, where he's lifting with the upperclassmen, and when he walked in, I could tell already a fit kid, but he's put on a little bit more mass being down there. So
he's trying to get some more mass on.
Yeah, and he's gonna get bigger. What is 18? 18 right now. So in the next 2 years, 2-3 years, like he's definitely, I think he's gonna fill out some more, even more. But we talk about that jump from 8th grade to high school. He exceeded that, and then even in high school exceeded going from straight to varsity, and then landing at Presbyterian. What was that like? Was there any more at that point? It kind of had already been ingrained in him. You guys had already kind of laid the foundation, and you, like you just said, he was running with the weight room, running with everything that he was doing. When it came to preparing him for college, was there anything else that you guys kind of implemented into?
More just like time management, the balancing, being that we weren't college athletes, we didn't know, the level of it. We just knew we were college students. So that's an additional thing to do. And as soon as we dropped him off, it was like time for work. Like, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't have time with my baby. Like, it was like, you got a meeting at and I'm like,
blew his mind to see how quick the pace was.
It was like, you got 2 hours to get stuff in, and Khalid have a meeting at 5.
He didn't even get a chance to even breathe.
I had to finish the room because they like.
He was like, already? We already got meetings the whole day.
Yeah.
We didn't see him till 11 o'clock that evening. The next day, same thing.
Yeah,
I was like, it's a different pace.
I was gonna say it's like having a job. At that point, it becomes a business almost.
Yeah, because we both, she was more of the study, make sure your stuff is right. So we came at them at two different directions. She's the one. Them grades better be right. I don't care. I will yank you off that football field. I don't care what scholarship you on. I don't care what the coach got to say. Them grades better be right. I'm not playing with you. Where me, I'm the one that's saying, look, you don't earn your spot on the field during game day. You earn it at practice. So I always tell them, and it's my fault. And, even the coaches spoke to me about it. Like, tell Khalil, those are his teammates.
Yeah.
But they don't know since Pop Warner. I've been telling them, you crack your teammates, you get the coach's attention.
Yeah, that's the way to go about it. It's interesting because I think it's a little bit different now in terms of how, like, at the high school level, how kids are managed. And there's not as much, like, when I was coming through high school, or probably when you guys were coming up, like, practice, like you said, practice was just like, hey, that's where you proved it. But now there's not as much physical contact, and there's all the stipulations around tackling, taking them to the ground, and all of that. Rightfully so, to preserve players' health and their bodies, but at the same time, it's tough when you have rules like that, but you're also telling people, practice how you play.
Right.
Because it's hard for youth kids or high school kids to, not all of them can turn that switch on and off. It's, hey, one speed, let's go.
Yeah, I always tell him, even he's involved in so many different other things, and one of the things that's consistent with whatever he's involved in, I always tell him, you always perform the way you practice. So if you practice lazy, your performance is going to be lazy. So go 100% at practice and everything you do with practice. That way, you already have the stamina. You already proved that you belong on the field. Give us a reason to yell at the coach.
Yeah.
That's your job. I can't yell at mommy. Gonna yell. Mommy gonna let the coach know why my son not on the field and he's one of your best players.
Yeah.
But if I'm at practice and I'm watching you just dancing around, playing around, I can't argue with the coach.
Yeah, you can't justify it then. So let me get into the recruiting process, right? So for him, he said offers started to roll in after he got that first one. Felt like a weight was lifted. He told me how Presbyterian called him, or not Presbyterian, but the first offer, Gardner Webb called. From a parental perspective, how was that recruiting process on you guys?
The journey to getting there was very. I don't want to say gruesome, but it was, it starts before the first call,
100%.
And so it started in freshman year. I wish I had known more. If I had another son, he would make because you learn so much through the process. I remember we took him, I took him to a camp in Jersey because they wanted to see him down here. And they actually wanted him to go to high school. And I was like,
high school in Jersey.
And my husband had to work. I'm early retired, so he was like, if you go, you're gonna have to go by yourself, maybe stay with some family or whatever. And I was like, no, I'm coming right back home. But I thought about that ride to New York and Jersey. I was like, really should I stay? Because it was just me and Kaleel and there for 6 hours, and he didn't drive. So I'm like, your job is to keep me up. It was a bit much. But as far as getting to that first call from Gardner Webb, and they wanted to talk to us, and I'm like, yeah, this is what we've been working for, you know, and they want to give him a full ride, and I think we went to that. No, we didn't even go
We
to a
didn't
visit
even go
yet
to
before
a
they
visit.
offered him.
Right.
Yeah.
It
We had
went
never
just from the
heard of the
video
school, never
that
been
went
there.
viral. Just from that hit that went
Yeah,
viral.
yeah.
They saw
And
that
they
hit.
saw some of his other
And they saw his film.
Highlights,
Yeah,
yeah.
highlights, yeah. And so, yeah, that's how that went. And we was like, where's the school located? You know, we're happy, we're excited.
Yeah, we need to do a little bit more research.
Can we come for a visit to see before we,
Yeah,
say
I
anything?
think like
Yes
2
or no?
weekends later, we were about a week or so later. We
It was
were
about a month or so later.
right
we went
there
to go
on the
see
web.
him,
And and it was a weight lifted off of him because he was stressing out. Like, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. I'm putting in the work. Nobody's reaching out to me, and and he's looking at other people posting, on Twitter. Hey, gotta thank you, Coach so and so forth. And he's like, man, I got better stats than this person.
Yeah.
So he went through it a lot, and even with us, I had to beat into him that hey, sometimes people are not going to see you where you're supposed to be. There were some coaches that, because of his size, they didn't think he was D1 material. But I know I serve a guy that can make things happen for, whoever. Look at the young man that won the Heisman.
Yeah, exactly.
That's proof that size doesn't mean that you can't play on the, on the highest level.
And the talent and the ability.
Yeah.
So I had to tell him, you if you want to be a D1 athlete, you have to practice like a D1 athlete. You have to play. So once that first D1 call came in, you can just feel the stress and see it just
be free, yeah.
Just whoos out, just off of him, just like, okay, I'm good. Because he knows if one show up, another one is gonna come, another one's gonna come. But man, those trips, a lot of these parents don't know, man. Be prepared. Be prepared to travel.
Now, when did you all start taking him to camps? How early was that?
Maybe it was
sophomore year.
Yeah.
But even with camps, we learn a lot with camps, and I try to educate the parents. Only go to the camps, to the schools that your children want to play at. We were just all over the place, try to get him to be seen. Instead of focusing on this is where he wants to go, let's go to these camps so that these coaches can see him,
Yeah, we had to learn that as the process. It was, the learning process of it, and we go to like the Adidas camps,
Nikes, and all
that, whatever the other camps was, just to get him the exposure and just the ability to be the testing and all that stuff, whatever, because we had no clue, and so but I think overall it helped, but like my husband said, we learned like when it came to as he got older, go to the schools that really he would want to attend and want to play for. So
and to your point, I think that the size and the measurements of what a typical D1 athlete is, as we see, Khalil's gonna run up, and it doesn't matter if it's Derrick Henry. I don't doubt that he's gonna attempt to tackle him with all of his force.
I'm a big fan of, I think coaches should look at a child and say, oh, you got potential, and let the college coaches decide what they're going to do. Don't automatically count them out. If you see he has the heart, he has the talent, or she has the heart and she has the talent and the skills.
And if he's putting the work in on the field, if the stats
are showing,
don't limit him to this level. You're gonna be D2 or D3 because of your height or your weight or whatever. Because we know that kind of stuff plays, but if he's doing it now, why don't you think he's gonna get better process? And I feel your goal as a coach is to make them better.
I know all those coaches that pass Curry.
Steph Curry,
I know they are kicking themselves in the chin right now. Because they said the same thing. He didn't have the height, he didn't have the weight. But look.
and it works on the other side where you have the kid who passes the eye test, but they don't really translate and perform the way that you would want them to. And at that point, I don't want to say you've wasted a scholarship, because any kid getting their education, I'm all for. But you could have put your job and your livelihood in a better position had you took the kid who had the numbers and things like that.
That eye test is real. Going through these things, I see how these coaches, as soon as they see a kid, they're just like, wow, I want to see what he's gonna do. And Khalil is, he's very competitive. very competitive. And he got that from his mom.
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing.
I heard he got the trash talk from you as well. That's what
I think with both of us.
But I'll put it down at a space table.
It's for he got the trash talking from her, but the creativity of the words.
The wordplay.
It's like, because he's heard me say some stuff like, man, like, did my dad really say that to this? Yo, that's creative,
Yeah.
And it's a bad thing, but he would find the biggest kid that can, oh, you want to brag? You were a 4-star athlete? I want you.
Yeah.
And then he would embarrass him, just to show the coaches, like, look, I might not be as big as him, but he's not better than me.
Yeah.
But the coaches were so zoomed in on this particular kid because on size, and it amazed me, like, wow, what happened to those days when you look at the talent versus the height? I know a lot of tall players that can't dunk.
I was gonna say, when you look at like a Muggsy Bogues or like a
Muggsy Bogues,
like players like that like even a Drew Brees at the career he's had, and they told him at 5'9" you can't.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, Pat Mahomes, Kyler Murray. Like, we see the wave now,
Right.
and I think that it is kind of it's changing because people have missed off of the eye test. So to get back to your recruiting, so you got the first offer from Gardner-Webb. Several other offers come in. At that point, you guys are faced with the decision of, a good problem to have, I guess you could say, of what's the next step. How did that go in terms of weighing schools, and ultimately how did you land on Presbyterian?
A lot went into that. Prayer and a whole lot. I'm one of those guys, I try to look for the sign. Like, God is telling us something,
100%.
So we will go to a school. She and I will love it. He'll be like, nah, man, this is the mountains. my head, when we went to that visit, man, my head was spinning. Like, can't be in no mountain. It's going to be cold. I don't like the cold. Then we would go somewhere else, and me and him would like it. And she would be like, I lost $30 when I went on that campus. That's a sign God is telling me that I'm going to lose money if I send you over here. And everywhere we went, it was something that all three of us never came to an agreement. But for some reason, when we got to Presbyterian, all of us was just, like, everything just clicked. It's just like none of us had anything negative to say. It was like everything was clicking. Even Khalil, him and his sister have a big age difference, so he pretty much grew up the last part of his life as a single child in the home. So sharing was, when he found out, hold on, I got my own room. He was praying that when he get there, he got his own hotel room for the visit. So they really spoiled him, and that's one school. One thing I love about this, that particular coach, the head coach, everything he promised us, he made it happen. Where there's other coaches, I can do this, I can do that, but when it was time to do, it's like, I'm not seeing you doing it.
Yeah.
Are you just saying it so he can
Because you want him
you?
here. You want to get him here, and then
from the beginning, PC been wanting him for a long time, but Khalil was just like, well, I don't know. But when we went to that visit, when I said everything just like fell right, we had peace.
You go there once or twice?
We went there one time for the official visit. Yeah, we didn't even visit the campus, just one time. And we were like, yo, all of us driving back with, you don't have any issues? You don't have any issues? You don't have any issues? And Khalil, the only thing Khalil had was, man, the record, man. I was like, all it takes is one person to change it.
Yeah.
I was like, if you look at the history of Alabama, they were never the team that they were now, until, Saban got it over there.
Saban got there.
So all it takes is one person to change the dynamic of a team, and he's doing that right now at practice, that trash talk, he's bringing it. And the coaches are looking like, yo, we never had somebody that can talk trash and motivate people like that on the field. It's to the point where players are leaving practice thinking, who got Khalil mad? Was there a fight? No, he's just
bringing it all the time.
Exactly.
Exactly. And like you said, all it takes is one person. And one thing I'll say again from coaching Khalil for 3 years is he has that personality to where people are drawn to him. So I could see him stepping in, trash talking, and making everybody else want to elevate their game. and that's what great players do. Now at Presbyterian, again, like you guys went down there, you loved, you connected with the coach. As parents, I know you said he everything that he promised you, he followed through on. Was there anything else that Presbyterian done through their coaching staff that made you at peace or made you comfortable?
Just looked genuine,
Yeah, and like Michael said, I think that was the official visit. I think we went to another visit. I can't remember. It was just so many at that point. Like, can you make a decision already? Like, Lord, can you give us a sign? And it was just, we just wanted to make sure that he fit, not just on a football team, but he's going to be okay in a classroom because that's what you're really there for.
That was the other thing.
And how the connection and how the coaches interact, even at the banquet thing or whatever they had. Just do they know our word? We've been dentists, okay? Do they know the word? And it made us feel like we're the only ones in the room at the time. When it came to talk, okay, what we dealing with? Like my husband said, the head coach was like, okay, so we can make it happen. What can we do to get you here? What is going? We know Charleston Southern is looking at you. We know Garden Webb and the various others. But what can we do? What can we do to get you here? And so like, show me the money. And so they talked. And it was like, okay, that's it. Like we'll move. We don't offer. They stopped doing the athletic scholarships, but they they did the stuff.
We can
pull his transcript.
We can't name it this, but we can make. But the other thing, like you have to know your child. Khalil, at that time. Now because he's experienced it, I think he can handle it. But at that time, Khalil could not. I don't think Khalil could handle a classroom of 100 kids.
Yeah.
And he's just a number in the class and not Khalil. And one of the things PC offered was, that small classroom feel where the teachers will know you by name, and he needed that, that attention to make sure that paperwork and grades were being taken care of, but now because he's experienced that college life and he's seen that, okay, this is a job. I got to, be up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get ready for practice and then go to breakfast, go to class, and then come back for another meeting, go to class, come back for practice, and then homework, sleep, and then do it all over again, So at that time, we needed a school that's, we knew was going to make sure adapt, especially in the classroom.
Yeah. And then, so from there, I guess, my next question / leading into a different kind of topic. I'm familiar with Presbyterian. It's a beautiful university. Like I said, I went to High Point, so we were in the same conference. I was able to go down there once or twice. But Presbyterian down in South Carolina, again, as black men, as having a black son, sending him to South Carolina, in times that honestly are just crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know that was, probably something you guys thought about. How did you navigate that?
I know for me, I'm gonna let her answer it her way, but I know for me, the conversations that I had with him, we've been black long enough to know how to govern ourselves and to pay attention to the signs. I went to Shaw University, and although I am very thankful for what Shaw has done for me. Was a knucklehead in high school. I didn't start acting right till my senior year. So for Shaw to give me a chance to be able to get a college education, I would never take away what Shaw has done for me. But to go to these visits and to see that, hold on, this is your cafeteria. This is like a 3-floor. Like, wait. All I had was like a little dining hall. Like, what? This is y'all cafeteria? I think every parent's dream is for your children to do better than what you did. So, but with him, it was always like, and plus, when we looked at the credentials of Presbyterian, that's like pretty much getting an Ivy League type degree. So I had to explain to him, you are a student athlete. Our goal is to get you to the NFL. But if that doesn't work, listen to what the coach was saying. Like 90% of the kids pretty much graduate with a job.
Yeah. Yeah, because Presbyterian is private too. Isn't it? Yeah, private school, great education.
Alumni, they really take care of the school.
And the percentage that doesn't go ahead.
That's because they're going to get their masters
to the next level of education.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much 100%, right?
Yeah.
Like this, I was like, this is amazing. To hear all the schools we visited, none of them had that. Even Furman, they didn't have that type of percentage, and they can't tell you that, hey. The coach said, when we have a job fair, it's not just people that owns Fortune 500 companies came from this school. So we have alumni coming to recruit other other students to work for their company. So him getting a job after college from PC, they're like, we're not worrying about that part. Alumni takes care of that.
Yeah.
So that was what I wanted. And that's what I was like, okay, but as far as the race, I always tell them, govern yourself. Don't feed them or give them any more ammunition, So the way you respond to race will determine, if you are really that ignorant person they're calling you out to be, So I think if you prepare your child, because it's easy to react. I'm a black man that's been called the N-word by, white people while I'm working. But if I would have responded, then I would have been what the definition of the word is, but the way I responded proved that he's the one that's ignorant. You have to teach your children, everything doesn't require a response. But mommy, she had her own, fear with it.
It wasn't necessarily a fear. It's a small town, rural town, like, okay, this is it. Like, I stayed there for like 3-4 days. Like, I'm like looking for apartments, as much as I'm gonna be all right. I know I trust God, and me and Khalil, people will say, okay, we like that, but and they be like, y'all moving? And I'm like, we ain't had a season yet, so give me some time. Let's see what's gonna happen. But I was, he chose the roommate that he had. As the young man came from a school in Raleigh or whatever, and I'm like, you sure? You sure? He was like, yeah, we're gonna be cool, whatever. And so even through the semester, he learned there's a difference, there's a difference, from just how you were reared. But, I was concerned about that because I'm like, it's small, I drove around and see, with people that look like me was going to be there. I'm like, okay, so this is where you can probably go get a haircut.
See, and those are the things that, I'm sorry that
you're fine.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Those are the things that a lot of people don't think about, right? I remember I did a report in college actually about the Green Bay Packers, and they had to bring in a black barber by the team because up there in Green Bay, there's not any black barbers or anybody that can cut black hair. But those are things that do factor into it of where can I know I can go get something to eat and
I did that. I wanted to find, we're Pentecostal church, God in Christ. I went and found me a church. I'm like, okay, we're in a pandemic, but when things open up, I need a place for you to go worship. Because this is how you were reared. Okay, I know you might slip up and not do it as often, but give God his due.
Exactly.
So we did that, and we just
we drove around for days just looking for stuff.
My husband was like, "Can we go home now?"
I mean, I understand. I really understood why she wanted to make sure she got a lay of the land. But when it was time for Khalid to get a haircut, we was like, okay, go down 2 blocks, turn right, turn left. There's a black barber shop there. We already knew where the things were in the town, and that was different. The part that tripped me out with this whole recruiting, especially with race, black schools didn't even reach out to him. He was waiting for the HBCUs to say something. And the ones that were looking at him, they already knew. Well, you already got a bunch of D1 offers. There's no need, but just in case, just in case. But but they already knew. Most likely he was waiting for the bigger HBCUs to say something. But it makes me wonder, what are we doing?
And I'll say, I think just from this is my own personal, I guess, opinion of it. I think that what is happening with a lot of the HBCUs, especially like around this area, is that they are starting to go out of state to get kids. You're missing out on a lot of great kids in state that understand the history of your institution. They have ties to it, whether it's lineage or anything like that, to where they would want to come here and play and exceed and do well and get a degree from here and do all of that. But for whatever reason, a lot of HBCUs are starting to try to go to Florida or go to other states and get kids who may not be familiar with the history of your school, the history of a Shaw, the history of a A&T or anything like that. St. Aug, my bad. Yeah, my bad. I'll throw them in there too. That I think is what's happening with HBCUs, because I know there's a wave, especially now with I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with like Mikey Williams, the basketball player who is going to be probably the number 1 pick in the draft in a couple of years. But he relocated from California to like Charlotte, Lake Norman, that area. But he is on the wave of wanting to go to an HBCU and playing at an HBCU. We see what Deion Sanders is doing down at Jackson State. So I love to see that wave taking place. But so I always like to ask, how do you feel about that? And I know Khalil could have easily stepped in at an HBCU and balled out. But like you said, that's not to say that Presbyterian degree is huge.
And it's not just that. I want Khalil to learn different cultures. There's so much more out there, and I think PC would give him, the opportunity to learn from the Asians, learn from the Hispanics, learn from the Caucasians, because I'm that guy, I'm cool with everybody, I treat people like music. As long as you good, I'm good, When you was talking about music, I was like, I listen to country, they laugh at my playlist. If I put shuffle, you don't know if it's a Latin song that's going to come up, a gospel song, old school rap, country, and they're like, what are you listening to? Next thing you know, next track is jazz. I just love music, period, and that's how I treat people. I don't care your race. As long as, you got a good tune to you, I can rock with you. And Khalil is so black. I'm like, okay, I need you to learn some other cultures. It's okay. He was like, Dad, they want me to go to a rodeo. Go.
Check it out.
You never know if you might like it.
And if I might interject, you got to know your child when you're doing this process. And we know that he didn't need to be at HBCU.
He didn't need to be at HBCU. No.
We knew my daughter needed to go to UNC.
He didn't need to go.
She did not need to go to, because they started out with the, mixture. You got an idea, whatever. But he started out that way.
There's
so
some features
I'm like,
of
you
a black woman
better.
that he loves too much. It would be very distracted at an HBCU.
It would be hard for so it's a struggle. He might get detoured on his way to class or something.
A lot of distractions.
But it's definitely dope to hear you guys, like you were saying before we started recording, that there is no handbook out there for parents going through this for the first time.
Parenting period.
Parenting period. But especially when your child is gifted in a particular sport, or you got schools chasing them and throwing offers at them and trying to navigate that. So I guess the last question I wanted to ask, and this is just something I heard. I listened to a lot of different podcasts, but I heard someone say, when we're looking at this season, college football season, they're going to be playing in the spring due to the pandemic. Did you all at any point, I'm surprised that we haven't heard about it more in the news, that, people's moms or parents aren't saying, hey, you're not going out there to play. Did that ever cross you guys' mind, or you knew there was no way you stopping them from stepping on that field come?
No, I wanted him to play. If the opportunity presents itself, since he was 5, we're the ones hollering at the stands. It just feels weird. It's a football season and we're not hoarse and mommy's not on camera yelling at somebody. If you listen to those Night Dale tapes,
Oh yeah, I heard you guys out there. Yeah,
you know.
So like we played Wakefield. What was there? Mike was over on the other side, but on the when you guys watching the
film.
Like, oh my God, Khalil, that's your mom. Like, ah, you know. But we dropped them off. I had sanitizer for his roommate, for the suite mate. Like, y'all gonna stay healthy up in here. It's quick mob. I mean, hundreds of sanitizer masks for everybody. I just want everybody to be safe. We're not ignorant to the fact that this is a real serious virus. We've lost family members to this virus, and so but as far as I just figured he's there. Yeah. We believe God is going to cover him. We wanted him to play.
I think what's going to happen.
My only fear was them playing and not being able to attend the game.
Yeah, I was just about to ask.
That's the question. Like,
so
what are we going to do? Are we going to be at home?
I'm going to be that parent by the fence.
Watching from the fence.
Yeah, watching it from the fence on the phone, you know, or ESPN on the phone app, hollering through the fence. That's going to be her.
Because we never missed a game. Like, thanks again to God. I mean, there's been times I've actually...
Oh, that's bad. No, people don't understand these stories, you know.
They're true.
She was in the hospital getting ready to get blood. Like, you know, a blood transfusion. I'm talking about needle in the vein, everything. She realized, hold on, y'all taking too long. Look, I'll be back. My son got a game. I'm like,
they had rooms.
They had the room ready.
It's gonna be over about 4 or 5 hours.
I'll be back. I'll be back. I'm like, are you really having them remove this?
Yeah.
You know, that's how dedicated we are to supporting our children. You know, and like I shared with you earlier, it just makes me wonder how many talented young men and women we have that don't have that support system. You know, and my wife said she played basketball, but you know how many times she can look up in the stands and see her teammates. You know, they were at work.
That helped me to make the decision. Like, I'm gonna be there at every game, every practice, because when he first started, he suffered with asthma. So I'm gonna have to pump. Anything happened? I'm sitting with my little book reading. You know, what happened? Okay, you know, and he's that player, like, just determined. I don't know, you know, it's something within, like you said, just natural. It would be times when he is about to have an asthma attack, but he don't want to stay from practice or something. And coach was like, "No, I understand. My son got no. You're gonna be okay, buddy. You're gonna, you know." And he'll get really like, "I gotta go to practice. I need to be here. Like, don't take me from practice." I'm like, "Well, it's good." And so he grew out of it. Thank God. But he would like want to play, and I'm like, "Dude, you just got out of the hospital from asthma attack, whatever." You like me, didn't want to miss games. So,
that is always interesting because I'm the same way. I'm an only child and I was raised by my mother, so I was kind of like you. I made the decision early on that I'm going to be at everything. Like when I have children.
My daughter don't even play any sports. She can get. She's the book smart, but I will be hollering like she had a touchdown or something. You know? And she'll be like, "Oh my
class parent."
She was like, "Oh
I'm not walking around town. I'll beat y'all. I hold you out." And he walking with the class because her elementary school is downtown Raleigh, and they would walk to all of their field trips.
Yeah, because we know what it feels like. We know what it feels like to look. And you can't find your peoples, you know.
Because they have to work, and we understand.
We understood that, you know. Because I'm not saying it, you know, because it's just my mom worked 2 jobs, single parent home, you know, 2 jobs, and sometimes she'll work 2 full-time jobs and a part-time job, you know. So I get it, you know. But when we had our children, it was like, okay, they're gonna know.
We're going to go the extra mile and make the sacrifices as far as let's just be teen mom. I got to high school and I was like, "Cool." I don't have no teen mom. It's like, guess who's your teen mom? You know?
And that, I got.
How was that happening in high school? It was like, I was like, "Dude, please, okay." And not only that, I'm gonna be cooking too. How about that?
I was gonna say I gotta highlight that some of the best food I've ever tasted when you would cook for the team.
Oh, that's
that was amazing.
And those kids were so mad when she stopped cooking.
And they would come after the game.
After the game, my house was
throughout the week.
Like,
you know. So we pastors, and we just love. We love children. We love nurturing them. Sometimes they can get on your last nerve and create nerves to get on. But we love the guys. I miss, you know, the Roger Jacksons and people that other people might think it's more difficult than others. We embrace them, and anytime you get a child to say, "Hey, mom," people at night they'll go. I had like several kids there. I'm like, what?
You adopted them.
No, I just saw your son, and he's just like, but
No,
I had to.
Your son's in the office.
The teachers would come and tell me
like,
what my child was doing.
Like, what?
And so I said, well, if you wanna call me mom, I'm gonna treat you like your mother. So the Spanish teacher came to me. I need that work done. If not, we're gonna have some problem. I'm gonna talk to the coach, and you will not be playing. You will not be playing. So they're like, okay, Mama Dennis, or okay, Mom, something. And I'm like, I was like, they just call you Mom. I was like, they just started doing it. I just answered. I just started. But I'll be in there tails.
That was her rule. You
Yeah.
gonna call me Mama? I'm gonna treat you
like that.
Act like you cool. Back in the day, he was like, I'm calling my mama. When he got to high school, he got used to it, and he just like, I know the real deal. Like, y'all can be my play brothers, but I know.
That's amazing. So they haven't. You guys don't know if you're going to be able to attend.
No, they didn't get that far. We just thank God that they actually playing.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
I was gonna say that's tough, but hopefully when things open back up, you'll be able to take some trips, and because I know he said they play San Diego.
She is not lying. I'm telling you, even if no parents is on the stand, she would be in the city. She would be in that state. I'm letting you know.
You guys have put in. you guys have put in the time, the effort, the work. You got it. You work this hard. You got to enjoy it.
We're gonna try hard. I would love to be. I think the away games, Iowa, Kentucky, and Florida.
Yeah.
I would love to take those trips. Definitely gonna be at the home games. But
she was really mad that the San Diego game was a home game.
That's what Khalil was the same way when I was talking to him. He said he was hoping that they were going to get the chance to go to San Diego.
Yeah. So maybe next year.
That's what I was saying. If they do a home and home. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Dennis, I appreciate you guys coming to sit down with me. Oh, 100%. I definitely wanted to do this, and when Khalil said you guys were interested, I jumped at that opportunity. But the last thing I want to do is the same thing I did with him. Something I want to do with all of these episodes is just give you the last word. If there's any message you guys want to get out, or anything you want to get off your heart, or just put out there, I want to leave it with you guys before we get out of here.
For me, to stay on topic of today's conversation, to all the parents, if you know your child really is gifted, fight for them.
Yeah.
We had to fight for Khalil at some point. We had to have some respectful meetings with some coaches. If you truly believe your child has talent, but instead of looking at skill, they're looking at size, fight for them. Your children, out of respect to adults, they only can do but so much. So as the adult, you have to be the one that go, hey, coach, respectfully, my child has been putting in work. Why is he not here? Why is he not there? And speak life to your child and let them know, hey, you will be this, you will be that. Don't allow them to think failure. There's a difference between failing and being a failure. So any parent that's listening to this, your child is worth that sacrifice. It's worth that investment. And I challenge any coach that see potential in a child, but this is a single parent home, to say, hey, this is so and so. Is it okay if I take your son to this camp right here? This school reached out to me, and I know you got to work. Is it okay? If I can take your son, because it takes a community.
Yeah.
So I think if the community comes together, there won't be any child, great athlete, that's going to be left behind because they don't have that support system.
So just piggyback off what my husband said regarding the support system. If you can be there, a lot of people think at the earlier ages when rearing a child or children, you need to be the element, which is true, but they're more needed at the high school level, because now there are different aspects of life and different things that's going on in mind, hormones, different stuff. That's when you really, because people like, you early retired? Yeah, when Khalil was a freshman, I had the opportunity to talk to my husband. He said it was okay, and I said, sign his papers real quick before he changed his mind, retiring from the state government as an accountant. And, but if I had to do it all over again, I would do it again because I was there. He got home from school, I was there. I would probably do it much earlier if I had the opportunity, even with my daughter. But I was just there to be more involved, more hands-on, more supportive, even with classroom settings. We would always be at the field trips and stuff like that, and we would definitely, PTA meetings and stuff. But it's a difference when you're available during the day, and just if you can be, like, for the parents, if you can just be there, your presence, it means so much. I think you kind of relate because we had parents that worked, but you think back and you get, I'm like, well, who was at my game? Like, who, could I have gone further had I had that, that support that, that I give Khalil, and that we gave Michaela and dance and all that different stuff. But, life is a learning process and a journey, and just, always be the voice for your child, and the person to.
And you notice we said voice, not go in the coach's office.
Yeah,
and stuff,
not just because they're not
going off.
Yeah.
And just be realistic too, because some people like, oh, my child is, my child, and they can't even run to this door.
And
you got to be realistic, like, they're not in the game for a reason. But like I have to say, they're talented, gifted, and they're just being overlooked, maybe by favoritism or by size or whatever. Then that's when you need to come to Jesus meeting with, not, and like he said, respectfully. And he said we had to do that, but it was respectfully and from the heart, like genuine. Like, I'm the first person. If you ain't doing what you're supposed to, get your butt on the bench, that kind of stuff. But if you putting in the work and you there before, I used to tell Khalid, get there before practice starts, do something, I'm about to do some suicides, but that's, I don't know if they do that football, that's basketball. But,
I wouldn't jump at the opportunity to do those either. I don't know too many high school kids are going to want to do suicide.
Right, but I'm like, because he's, like you said, he's always been attracted to, because he's just leaders, leader. He's getting in trouble in class. Well, Khalil did it, so all other kids did. Well, he's not your assistant teacher. I didn't deal with him, correct him, but he can't be, held responsible for the rest of this just because they chose to follow him.
Exactly. But that is, I couldn't say anything better myself. I thank you guys again for coming to sit down with me. Check out this episode. It will be up on Thursday. And we will continue to talk to athletes and coaches and parents in the area, but you guys have definitely set the bar high, and that's the way from where I want to take it moving forward. So again, thank you.
Thank you for
the 50-50 Ball Podcast, Mr. and Mrs. Dennis, and we will talk to you guys later.